What's up, everybody? We're here.
What's up, y'all?
One Piece.
You know what time it is?
10,
It's about to be that time.
9. All right, I'm excited to get into this. Feels like a while. Feels like a while since the last one. Yeah, things I'm expecting from this chapter. You know, we have to get into the Vegapunk of all of it. So, will Kuma contract the disease? Is he replacing his cybernetic parts, replacing his body with cybernetic parts because he keeps scaling over with sapphire scales? We'll find out. Will Bonnie make it out? Does he take the disease from her? Or does she die and become a clone of herself? Find out on the next Dragon Ball Z. Yeah, we switched the background up here because we finally got key visuals for Egghead. And you can see exactly how undrippy most of our Straw Hats are. Oh, man. We watched the latest episode yesterday. That was the final episode of Wano. So we watched that last night. That's available to members. I'm going to put it on the second channel. And the goal, I think, going forward after the Cross Guild episode, which will be this coming Saturday, we're going to stream that because that's going to be a spiritual experience. Croc's back. That'll be here on the main channel. And then I think after that, going forward, I'm going to use the second channel as the anime streaming channel. And maybe we'll bring back the chainsaw streams as well on the second channel. So that's kind of the idea right now. And we'll see how that works. We got to fight the algorithm here. In the meantime, though, Chapter 1099. Reader request, raccoon dog fixing up Odin's hair. This chapter is called Pacifist. Okay. We know where this is going. Okay. Shout out to everybody in here. Let's get these likes up, guys. You've done enough, Kuma. There's no saving the rest. Come back. You're only going to lose your own life. Kuma! Far to the east, another kingdom used this strategy successfully. Talking about the Goa Kingdom? Is this just the Gray Terminal over again? Oh, man. Alright, okay. Because we are past the point where the Gray Terminal would have already happened. Okay. Shout out to Flondimon, who said, get the stream to 100 likes, people.
Come with me if you want to live.
The Celestial Dragons praise their beautiful city for being cleansed of all filth, in order to bring out great bliss and prosperity. Wise king must sometimes steel his heart and enact cruel reforms. You gotta make the hard choices, you know? Shout out to King Bakori. People are mounting furious resistance. Murderer! Step down at once. Put out the fires in the south. Kill a handful of them and be rewarded. Eek. Who dares defy the King Edict? Step forward. Who's that? Stop now or be executed. We got Kuma out here looking like Batman. At Kuma's church. Hurry. Treat the wounded. Stay inside, Bonnie. You don't want to be in the moonlight. Okay. Hope she's safe. Dad's always such a chicken. Does she know? She doesn't know. Stop right there. You know what'll happen if you strike at the king. You'll pay dearly for this, you country bumpkin preacher. Damn! Okay. This incident would be known as the Solo Revolution of Sorbet Kingdom.
It's about to get spicy!
Wow, this man really just blew up the entire castle and everything. Shout out to Kuma. Shout out. Sacred Marijoa. I hear there's a new king in Sorbet. Strange. Who is it? He talked about this, if he was going to actually dethrone Bakori himself. It happened. Unable to resist the pleas of the people, Kuma became the king of the realm, living out of his old church. Oh, man. A humble king. King Kuma, my back hurts. I think you can stop teasing me now. When actually in control at the palace, it's old Bulldog. I'm just a figurehead to make the people feel better. Back in King Bulldog's day, 2 generations ago, times were poor, but we were rich in spirit. Sure was hard not having enough money to go around. Sure was hard not having money to go around, though. Okay. Huff, huff. Who's the girl running around the church? She looks just as pretty as Ginny. Huh? Ginny? Cardio. Why are you all so shocked? I have to be ready to go and see the horizon at sea when Daddy and I turn... with Daddy when I turn 10. Huh, Daddy. So I have to build up strength for her. Huh? Ah, that was Bonnie? What was that transformation? Did you eat a devil fruit? When? How did this even happen? How did this even happen? How did a devil fruit get into the church? I hope they explain this. Is this it? The age fruit? Where did she... Try doing it with your mind. Get older, get older. Stop that, Bonnie. You're gonna wear yourself out. King Kuma. Please, Your Majesty, grant us an audience. Wow. She turned into a wrinkled old bag. It really worked. She's hideous. It's not working. It's too hard to get older. Who are you, mister? You must be Princess Bonnie, then. My name is Bulldog. I'm something like an aide to your father. I have weighty matters to discuss. My mother is already here, I see. She's Connie, the one-time Queen Dowager. Alright, we're getting that Queen Dowager Connie lore. King Bakori's coming back? Look at this nonsense in this article. Wicked dictator. Certain Bakori set this up. So he didn't kill Bakori. Alright. I mean, really. Seize the throne with violence by burning villages? He's trying to overthrow us from abroad. It means he has the world government on his side. But Corey will be back to take control, mark my words. There's intel that he's preparing battleships. Can't have Bakuri coming back here. He'll have us killed this time. Don't worry, he won't set a single toe within this country again. Whatever he tries to bring back with him, I'll drive it all away. But once that happens, I'll be seen as a criminal. I won't be able to stay here anymore. Once that happens, I'll need you to be king, Bulldog. Would you take Bonnie under your wing in that case? Even this church will be in danger. I did it. She turned into the Queen Dowager. Alright, I'll find her a place with the same conditions. Bonnie, be a good girl while I'm gone. I'll be back when I'm in. That's my mom. Oda had to throw that in there. That's great. I love that. That's good. That's good. Leaving, I'll miss you. That's him, Navy. Kill him! He's the man who stole Sorbet Kingdom from me, a true tyrant who's committed all manners of atrocities. Kill him now, I'm the true king! You were a fool to show your face around here again. Naturally. Kuma sank all the ships. King Bakuri blasting off again! Hey, we got that Kuma bounty poster. Kuma bounty poster. You'll love to see it. Wanted. Bartholomew Kuma. I mean, realistically, Oda should not be hiding the number, because technically speaking, it should be the number that we see when he, shows up to Marijo in chapter 233. 296 million, something like that. Fled to the sea. A bounty was placed on his head, and through his pirate reputation and great strength, its value swelled over time. Okay, so he got multiple increases. I wish Daddy was here. I want to see him again. Sorry, Bonnie dear. Remember, Kuma is the hero who saved this land. I don't care. He's my daddy. So that's interesting. Queen Dowager Connie has the hat that Bonnie wears pre-time skip. So does Connie die and then she takes the hat? Once I'm 10 and I'm all better, I'll be a pirate too. Don't do it, dear. Turn into a grown-up. Oh, wow. Because that's in the South Blue, isn't it? The island where Chopper went during 3D2Y. Known for its advanced medicine. I don't remember the name of the island. Yeah, I can't remember the name of the island, but I know, obviously I know which island it is. Have you ever seen this disease before? She can't be in the sunlight, poor thing. Torino. Yeah. I knew it had something like with bird in the name. So yeah, Torino Kingdom. Pulls up to Mihawk? Look, if I had a bingo card of who was going to show up in this chapter, Abdullah and Jeet are not it. Abdullah and Jeet? Going after Kuma's bounty? Yo, shout out to the Grand Fleet, Abdullah and Jeet. Bars.
Drip, splash, water, drip, splash, splash, drip.
Your daughter has 5 years to live at best. Okay. So now we're at Baltimore. Yo, this man is traveling the world. Let's get these likes up. Tequila Wolf. I can't tell what this is next to Tequila Wolf. Then we're at Weatheria. Or Weatheria. The Boeing Archipelago. The man sat down with Heracles. Oh, wait a second. He's going everywhere he sent everybody. Oh, you're a doctor. Let me send you to Torino. He went to Baltimore. He went to the Muggy Kingdom. Tequila Wolf. Weatheria. The Bowen Archipelago. Bro, you gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. Oda, you dog. Hey there, Kuma. Is that a younger Bello Betty? It's interesting seeing Bello Betty look different. I forget Humpty Dumpty's name, because, I mean, he was just kind of introduced in 1083 or something. We got Morley there. Wait, if Morley's there... Oh, wait, yeah, no, he had already left Impel Down. Okay, so we got Dragon Ship. Eva and Inazuma were thrown in prison. Since the last time I saw you, you've been a king, a tyrant, and a pirate, eh? I love how Dragon speaks to this, right? I appreciate that, because that's one of the things that we had talked about. We were like, this man has led a lot of lives. Which is interesting, considering he's like... It's a little better to read the chat. I think I'm going to figure out a way to maybe keep this portion down here, Egghead, and then like make something over here where it's a little easier to see the chat. He's based off of Arnold Schwarzenegger, who lived multiple lives, so maybe that's something that Oda's trying to do. Athlete, actor... politician, king, tyrant, pirate. It must have come as a surprise to you. Nobody in the Revolutionary took those articles seriously, of course. Hey Kuma, can I be the captain of the Eastern Forces? Why ask me, Betty? Dragon says the position eternally belongs to Ginny until you give permission. That's interesting. I like that. Call back to the second commander position on the Whitebeard Pirates. So it takes a foul-mouthed woman to run the Eastern Forces? I don't mind. That's funny. Sabo Koala and the others want to see you too. We have many promising young members rising through the ranks. I want to show them off to you. I've seen what's happening around the world, and I often wondered what you would have done, Dragon. I want to return to the fold, but... money? As a matter of fact, I wanted to talk about her. You're aware of the Navy's scientist Dr. Vegapunk, aren't you? After the recent accident, he's going to transfer to a new lab. Ordinarily, he's kept under heavy security, but he's more approachable during the transition. Wait a second. Are you getting confirmation? Ace turned down the Warlord position. Did Kuma take it? Is Kuma the newest Warlord, canonically? This is something that I've wanted to know. I do want to know who they replaced. I don't know if we'll ever learn that. I'd like to. But even if we don't get confirmation here, that's my headcanon now. It's been my headcanon, but I feel like with this timeline now, it has to be the case. Because we haven't seen him become a warlord yet. And I don't know, I feel like timeline maybe match up here. Thank you, Dragon. In all honesty, I'd given it up for lost. I'll go and speak with him. If I can just cure Bonnie's disease, then I'd be happy to fight with you again. May the winds of fate guide us well, my friend. Yeah! Bonnie, that was amazing. I was going easy on her. Live to eat. Daddy. Naval Science Division, Laboratory 8, later known as Egghead. Back when it was still cold. Where are we? We're seeing a doctor to get a checkup before your disease is healed. I've never seen a man like you before. I was thinking the same thing. You put her in like a little barrel with a door on it? That's cute. Wow, look at his head. Gross. What a body. You have to let me study your muscles. For science, of course. That's your sickly daughter? Kind of a brat, eh? I don't mind a little lip, though. Sapphire scales. You've done well to limit them for so long. She'll survive. She will. I'll use some medical tech that I've been holding back from the public market. So it's that simple. Vegapunk was just able to heal this. Use some medical tech that I've been holding back from the public market. Is it going to be the earring? I mean, the piercing that she has? Because I saw that floating around. That what if that was keeping her scales at bay? Technically speaking, I'll be generating new stem cells and transplanting them. It's about as much work and cost as creating a cyborg. She'll turn into a cyborg? It'll cost as much, I said. Tell me, are you a buccaneer? Yes. You know I'm with the government, don't you? I trust Dragon wouldn't put me in danger. What makes my blood different than other people's? Well, I don't have enough of a sample size to explain. You want to make clones of me? That's right, I've been looking for the right person to be the base for my clone soldiers. Just provide me with blood samples and permission to create clone soldiers, and I'll cover the entire immense cost of Bonnie's operation. Can't pay it for it yourself, I assume. Vegapunk is sleazy. Tit for tat, nothing for free. I won't be declining the offer either way. What will you do with them? All these soldiers that look just like me. There's a typo here on the official. It says, all these soldiers that look just me. Will they be in the Navy? That's right. Tell me, do you like electromagnetic energy? that just like came out of nowhere. Do you like electromagnetic energy? You like Huey Lewis in the News? When they see a human being shooting laser beams, those pirates will go mute with shock. They'll be laid low by the overwhelming power of science. My soldiers' bodies will be as hard as shields, deflecting bullets and saving the populace. They'll be heroes to the common man, the mighty warriors from the future, and then he's an odd man, but true to his desires and trustworthy. That's what Dragon said about me, the nerve. Perhaps if clone soldiers based on me save other people's lives, then my own life will have meant something. Dragon's going to be furious about the terms. Well, I'm nothing but grateful to you both. I would make a deal with you to save Bonnie's life. Even if you were the devil himself. Just save Bonnie. You're a true saint. Sacred Marijoa. Lone soldiers are weapons. And weapons are valued by how many they can kill. Vegapunk would let a golden opportunity slip through his fingers. But I have a plan to deal with this. As you say, my lord. Who's he talking to? That's a black transponder snail. Saint? No, I'm nothing like that. Just a weak-willed pacifist. Huh, I like that. I think I'll use that for the name of my future soldiers. To be continued. This chapter was dense. After the past string of like really short chapters, it was really nice to get something that was just really lore focused. Alright. Bonnie's a clone theory in the mud.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
I don't see her being a clone now. Shout out to Brandon King, who said, do you ever think Oda will draw Bucket Hat Luffy? It'd be funny if he does. But I think... I don't know. He'll probably just let it slide to save face, but I don't know. Let's see here. Catching up on the chat here. Hurts the shocks be hitting, yeah. Off screen, the fruit. Yeah, that's still wild to me. Like, living in isolation for how long, and then just out of nowhere the fruit appears in the church? I don't know if I buy that. I don't know. I don't know if I buy that. That's the biggest stretch of the chapter. But drop those Kumas in the chat.
You loyal.
Because we've got the Kuma emoji. Watch Jeet get the yeet. Emil calling all of it slave, pastor, revolutionary, king, pirate, warlord, cyborg, slave. What hasn't he done in his life? Shout out to my guy Maxo, appreciate you. He said, there's something beautiful about the live to eat shirt in the context of Kuma and Bonnie. That phrase is usually eat to live, not live to eat. But that's pretty different if you've been enslaved.
You loyal.
Not only just enslaved, but like, if you're just poor, then like your entire day is spent around, okay, I just have to do normal, like, primal things. Like I have to find food, I have to find shelter, you know.
You loyal.
Yeah. Did I see Vice Admiral Silver Fox? Where? Who is Silver Fox? Sanj Saab, member for 24 months, said late captain, but finally at a chapter stream again. Appreciate you, Sanj. Aether thinks that Bonnie ate the fruit as a baby. I'm assuming while she was still with Ginny. And then she just randomly managed to realize that she could transform in this chapter. People saying the person talking to Saturn in this chapter looks like Foxy.
You loyal.
Oh. Vice Admirals. Foxy the Silver Fox. Yeah. You guys are wild. I see it now. I see what you guys are talking about now. Old Splithead joined the party. Shout out to Flondimon. 91. Said, something I've thought with the recent reveal with Gloriosa being a Rocks pirate. What if the Empress before Hancock was Porcus de Rouge? Oda has caught us slipping with these Empresses, just saying. We actually talked about this. And, you know, this is... I mean, it's a great idea. Savage. And I do like it. It's come up a couple of times. And I think it would... It makes sense to a certain degree. The only thing that I'm weary about it is if she was always a D. And she was living on Amazon Lily. Like, why is she the only D there? Did Gloriosa ever mention anything about the will of D? I don't think... I just went through all of her stuff. I don't think she ever mentioned that. So I don't know if Rouge needs to be the former Empress. Like, it's a clean way to add substance to the character. but I wonder if there's another way to make her a little more interesting to just Roger's story specifically. Also, with Rayleigh being with one of the Empresses, and then Roger also being with one, I think that's a bit of a hat on a hat. That's like doubling up on something for nothing. And now that I think about that, I'm actually going to debunk that, and I'm going to say that I don't think that that's actually going to happen. But it's a neat idea, but it's the Rayleigh part of it that really like bums it out for me. Whoops. Sorry. I don't know how... Chrissy just let me know I was muted. I don't know how that happened. My bad, guys. It's shout out to Conrad, member for 29 months. He said, Oda does not miss. Yeah, the calm fruit hit me. Thanks, Chrissy. Yeah, no, this chapter did not miss, and I was saying that one of my favorite things is just wanted posters, and we got Kuma's wanted poster, so that's probably my favorite thing here. And then shout out to Alejandro Salas, who said, I love all the lore and connections this chapter has, but without Caesar's ego, Bonnie would not have been cured, because Vegapunk would still be a punk hazard. And I was saying that I love the line of thinking with the butterfly effect, but I still think that Vegapunk would have figured out a way to suppress the sapphire scales regardless, and that Kuma and Vegapunk would have found each other. I don't know if Caesar's involvement goes that deep, but I do love butterfly effect things, so if it came out to be that case, or someone mentioned something about that, I'd be in. Barry said, I like the thought of Rouge just being a common woman who carried the will of D. That's interesting. I mean, in a story of just, chosen ones,
Savage.
that would be cool. Dawn Night 1993, like I said, officially spoiler free. I encourage anyone reading this to join in with chapter 1100. Now is the best time to do it. Savage Crew. Shout out to DK, dropping that spoiler life. And shout out to Abdullah,
Savage.
my guy coming through with the lavish bracket activity. Appreciate you, my friend. Let's get into what man's got to say here. So Abdullah said Mihawk and Kuma both do not have crews. Kuma was last to join with him, being a cyborg and no need to add more. Mihawk was known to hunt Marines, so they invent the Warlord system to stop him. He said it's been a while since he's been hunted. So I think Abdullah is suggesting that the Warlord system was created specifically to stop Mihawk, which is interesting. And shout out, I want to see those W's in the chat for Abdullah. Put those W's, guys. I personally like the idea of the Warlord system being a thing that's been around for a little bit, but I also like with the God Valley story that if all of the original Warlords were basically people that had something to do with God Valley, but just I'm hoping that in 1100 we get some information on Kuma becoming a warlord in the first place. And then maybe like an explanation of the warlord system. Like this actually might be coming because that's the one step that hasn't happened yet. And I think that the next chapter will be the last chapter of the flashback. And I don't think it will actually be the entire chapter. I think instead of Dragon pulling up to Egghead, the alternate idea that we were talking about, where it's actually Kuma landing to Egghead, that's how Oda's going to stop it. So it's probably going to be like, we're seeing all of this Saturn stuff in 1099. So Kuma's going to show up to Egghead in 1100 and stand in the way of Saturn. So we'll see a bunch of Saturn and Kuma, and then we'll see Saturn and Kuma in real time as well. But we have to see him become a warlord as well. And it would be really interesting if we, like, you know, found out something like, oh, Captain John was, you know, a warlord, and he died, you know, and then Moria steals his corpse then, and it's like, they send the thing to Ace, but Ace turns it down, so Kuma becomes the warlord in place of, you know, whoever it is. Captain John is just a placeholder here. But if we can get an explanation for how long people have been warlords, how long the system has been in place to balance the powers, that's something interesting. And when you think about privateers and everything, and this is actually like one of the things that I'm most interested in with this chapter anyway, and just the warlord system in general. So going off on this is something that I actually don't mind doing. And Mihawk being the reason for the warlord system is interesting, but I would rather it be that he was hunting so many Marines that they tried to fold him into this process that already existed to just be like, please stop killing us. And but we'll see, because I feel like pretty much all of the original Warlords are connected, or at least 5 of them are, right? Because 5 of them were at Roger's execution. So there's something special about those guys, with the exception of Hancock and Jimbei, who are like really on the side of the Straw Hats. And then the other 5 have all been obstacles in one way or another, and then we're getting the truth of Kuma now. Yeah. It's an interesting thought, but I also like the idea that you're mentioning here about Kuma not having a crew. So yeah. It's an interesting thing to think about. He just kind of like went off on his own, traveled the world, and he was considered a pirate, but really all he was doing was trying to help his daughter, going to all of these islands and racking up a massive bounty. His crew really is the Revolutionary Army more than anything, but I don't know, I just love all of it. Shout out to RS, who did 2 super chats. Said, Bonnie for Straw Hat all the way. As soon as Luffy didn't use a nickname for her, I got the feeling. Any thoughts? Having Bonnie be a like an apprentice or something is interesting. And the thing I like, I don't think that Bonnie's going to join the crew. I think she's going to go with the Revolutionary Army. But the thing I like about Bonnie potentially joining the crew is that it would be another character that we met pre-time skip. And that's the interesting thing about it. Like, you can go back to the archipelago and like watch it a whole different way and be like, this is a Straw Hat 500 episodes from now. More than 500 episodes later. But the utilization of characters that you created so many years ago, over a decade ago, that's the stuff that I really love. So I'd be down for it in that way. It's just more so what role does she play in the end game? I think she's more effective for the Revolutionary Army. And considering that both of her parents were part of the Revolutionary Army, I think having Bonnie join back up with them and help lead the charge on that side against the world government, I think that's more fitting for her character, but I'm open to whatever Oda wants to do. RS continued saying, tragic backstory certainly fits. True. She's almost like an apprentice, full member, endgame powerful member because of her age and devil fruit, and she has nowhere else to go. You bring up a lot of good points. There's a lot of good points there. But I don't think she actually has nowhere else to go. I think she could go with the Revolutionary Army as well. Those are people that knew her mother. They could tell her about her mother, tell her stories about her. That's more the fitting thing for me. I like that from its own perspective. I'm into that. Ace 2532, appreciate you, said 1100 is going to be insane. Hopefully we get mostly flashback in the last 4 pages or so of the present. That's about what I'm expecting, if not half the chapter.
You loyal.
And Ace said, thank God for no break next week. It's crazy that we're going to be at another digit. Oh my God. The era of the 1000s. It's been a good 100 chapters, I gotta say. Especially the last 50. Chrissy thinks that Bonnie will be Law Part 2. She doesn't think she'll be a Straw Hat. She'll just ride with them for a little bit. Brandon King said Namakura Island, where Brook was summoned, wasn't shown. I bet in 1100 we see Kuma selling his soul on that very island. Even if you were a devil, I'd do it. That's an interesting line to dig a little deeper into.
You loyal.
But I also wonder, because there was one island that was a little ambiguous. And I wonder if that's Namakura. The one in between Weatheria and Tequila Wolf. Like, do those guys look like they're long arms? Kind of hard to tell. Is the implication that Kuma threw an Ursa shock at Abdullah and Jeet, by the way? Is that the idea, or is that just like a different panel? Because if it's them attacking Abdullah and Jeet, if it's him attacking Abdullah and Jeet, I kind of like it. Chrissy was agreeing with Dan in the chat. Shout out to Chin, member for 28 months, who said Big L for Dragon, lost Ginny, lost Eva, Inazuma, and Kuma. Hey, you know, the life of a revolutionary is hard. You're out here trying to change the world, and the world doesn't want to be changed. It's the people at the top trying to stop everything. So, while Dragon might be taking L's, he hasn't lost the war. He's just lost a lot of battles. The war is still on the forefront. Emil Diaz, member for 30 months, said Bonnie can become the third captain of the Eastern Revolutionary Army. What are you trying to say is going to happen to Bello Betty? I like it. It's fitting. But what are you implying is going to happen to Bello Betty? Barry said, remembering the hype from 990 on feels like 1 year ago. Feels like yesterday. Yeah, it does, but that was... three years ago. Yeah. After the next chapter, Chrissy, our son is going to be 100 chapters old next week. That's always a funny thing to think about. Abdullah and Jeet stocks at an all-time high. Jen said Dragon indirectly created the pacifistas. See, now that's butterfly effect. Dragon sent him to Vegapunk, which not only healed Bonnie, but also killed him. That's Dragon. That's on Dragon. That actually is on Dragon. But Barry said it feels like 10 years ago. DK said that's how you measure birthdays now, by chapters. I'm in. Axo said Dragon's like, yeah, I know a guy with a build. Don't worry, buddy. He sent Kuma up the river! Dragon's the secret villain of the series. He's been selling his people out the whole time. That'd be wild. Let's get those likes up, guys. Appreciate everybody in here. Let's go through this chapter again. We're going to see if there's anything else that we missed. Reminder that we will be watching 1086, the Cross Guild episode, Crocodile's Return, this Saturday. And then after that, we'll be using the second channel for anime reactions and potentially other series content. So if you're not subscribed to the second channel, you're going to have to throw a link to the second channel in the chat too. Find that. That would be the idea, Chin, that if I'm bringing back Chainsaw Man, it's going to be over there. Because it hurt this channel way too much to do it here. Ian Barrow said Egghead doesn't start till January, so I'm confused about this Cross Guild episode. Could somebody explain? 10:58, where everybody gets their bounties, and then it's. You see Crocodile, and you know they've Mihawk, and they've got Buggy's head. And we get Crocodile's bounty and Mihawk's bounty. My favorite chapter of last year. Was it last year? I think it was last year. It was 2 years ago. Don't tell me it was 2 years ago. Whatever year it was, it's one of my favorite chapters ever. So I'm excited to see how it's animated. And then, so I think what they're saying is that they're not going to actually touch down on Egghead Island until January. So you got to figure this coming Saturday will be in December at that point. And then you've got the Boa and Blackbeard Rayleigh episode. And then 1060, which is the Lelucia gets annihilated episode that ends with Bonnie. So at that point, you're already like 3 weeks into December. Then the next episode would be Lilith.
Another one.
That could be the last episode of the year, or it could be what they're talking about as the first episode of January if they take a break. I don't know. Shout out to Paths GFX for joining the channel. Appreciate you. Yeah, they could pad that into 5 episodes max, though. I really wanted Kuma to, like, just kill Bakori. Like, this guy is annoying. But hey, he's a pacifist, right? He's Batman. He doesn't kill. But what does that mean for when he fights Saturn? Is he not going to kill Saturn also on Egghead? He needs to. Bonnie just randomly getting her fruit. I don't know if I'm gonna get over that. And I like that Oda answered the like Queen Dowager Connie thing. But for something that was like 5 years ago. 5 years of waiting for what does Queen Dowager Connie mean? The joke is funny, you know, where Kuma mistakes Connie for Bonnie, but she didn't have any story purpose. So it's like, it's a foreshadowing that didn't really amount to anything. Unless Bonnie later on uses the Connie disguise again to get into Marijoa and do something of note. That's the only thing, that's the only way I buy it. Like, if she can pretend to be Connie and fool someone later on that means something story-wise, then this is just like, this is like a filler joke. Jin wants to see Bonnie de-age Saturn. I feel like that would be the same thing like when Law was trying to use his ability on Kaido and the hockey's too strong, you know? Let's see. You know, I like the consistency between the newspaper and his bounty. It's like they had one photo for him and they kept using it. I like that. Like this Connie thing, like not to keep going on this Connie thing, but you know what it gives me Pagaya in Skypiea. You know, like when he shows up after he's died and, you know, he saved Konus and they're just like crying over him and then it pops in and it's just like, oh, you talking about me? Like, it's a funny joke in the same respect of that, but it's also like, do we need this? Did we need it? I don't know. I don't know if we needed it. But I needed it because it's actually my favorite part of the chapter. Like, other than the bounty, I really did like the joke of the switch. I just want more story purpose. Like, you're gonna dangle these threads. You know what it's also giving? It's giving, I have a message for Luffy. Can you give it to him, Nekomamashi? It's giving Marco. Marco's message. That's what it's giving. Cassidy Dillon, appreciate you, said, thoughts on the idea that Kuma's consciousness was switched with the Iron Giant. Feels like this arc's Chekhov's gun to me, with apologies to Caribou. Yeah, I've had some people bring that up before, and the idea that I liked more was that his consciousness isn't already in the Iron Giant, but will go into it in Egghead.
Savage.
So that there's a part of his consciousness in the paw, and then, I don't know, maybe somewhere during the incident, the paw goes inside of the giant, and then it awakens, you know, and then you have like an Alphonse Elric situation. Which is okay. We love Full Metal Alchemist over here. Dash said Sanji's island was the only one not shown in Kuma's world travel of islands he sent the Straw Hats to. Sanji got the short end of the stick. I buy that because Kuma is so well acquainted with Ivankov that Kuma already knows about Kamabaka. Like, he didn't need to go to Kamabaka to find a cure for Bonnie. He already knows that island exists. It's like, it's an offshoot of the Revolutionary Army. You know, it's somewhere where they, you know, would base themselves out of later. So that I buy. That didn't need to be there, and that's okay. Alves, I think Oda's just doing an all really old people look alike thing, and I don't know if we're really supposed to buy that Ginny was related to Connie or something like that. I don't think that. Shout out to Emil, who said Kuma's memories could return to all of the clones. I mean, I'm still waiting for some sort of Order 66 type thing, which I guess is kind of already happening. This is kind of like the Emperor giving the order, you know, when Saturn turned all the Mark IIIs around. But you know, something like, I would love if Dragon, you know, we talked about this before, but I would love if Dragon showed up and then, you know, Vegapunk had actually put it into the authority system that Dragon would trump all of it. Explain why Amazon Lily wasn't shown? Now that's an answer. That's a question. Let me think about that. Be right back. A little chair piece, guys. Let's get these likes up. Okay. So, I thought about the Amazon Lily idea, and what I think is I think this actually helps the idea that Luffy's mom is the other Empress. Because if Kuma sent all of the Straw Hats, consciously or subconsciously, to islands that have something to do with them, an island where they can grow or where they can be protected, right? If Kuma knew that Dragon had some sort of an affair or a relationship with someone on Amazon Lily, and he knows that Luffy is Dragon's son, then he would send Luffy to where he knows Luffy's mom is from. Or we'll see it later when we get into more God Valley, but Kuma and Gloriosa had some sort of contact during the God Valley incident, where he either learned about Amazon Lily or helped Gloriosa get back to Amazon Lily. Who knows? But that is the most curious one. Like, more curious than Nakamura, Namakura. More curious than Kamabaka for sure. I think it's really interesting that he actually went to the Muggy Kingdom also. Like, nobody lives there, dude. Like, why are you searching for a cure there? Harry said, be honest, you left to call Oda, didn't you? I had to make the quick phone call. And, you know, I had to share what he told me in a way that doesn't sound like he told it to me. Shout out to Kid Clip. Memoji said, I said it 3 times already here. What did you say? Okay, Memoji said, I believe Kuma knew about Amazon Lily from Dragon because Luffy's mom is there, plus it fits age-wise, unlike Rouge, who would be older. Yeah, I mean, you know, we've talked about the Luffy's mom being the other Empress a bunch. It's no world-breaking theory, even if it comes true or doesn't. But I do think that this is some good teasing of it, though. Oh, that's another interesting thing too. As Ramon bringing up, hear me out. We have not seen all of Kuma's journey yet. Maybe Kuma learned more about Boa while he was a warlord. Yeah, I mean, it's safe to think that he would learn about Amazon Lily also by just being a warlord and knowing that Hancock was one. But the thing is why would he think that Luffy would get something out of going there? All of the islands everybody went to are just is either it's like a deeply personal thing to them, or in the case of Sanji, to him. You You know, it's like he sent Sanji to be safe with someone that, like, he trusts more than anyone in the world. It's so crazy just seeing all this stuff. It's so wild. I love it. That's right, Miles. I never leave Oda on red. As said, off topic, but got any good Black Friday deals, new figures, merch on sale? Nah, I mean, I spent Black Friday just trying to find something for my son. One Piece figures and things like that, they don't really go on sale. My guy Dan asked if I was going to the Rams game to get the special One Piece merchandise collab. What is the merch? The Rams game is going to be on a Sunday, so that's if I'm not mistaken, it's going to be like chapter 1100 day. So I'm not going to the game. I had to stream the chapter, and even if it is a break week, I'm going to be doing a theory for theory. So Sundays are always shot for me. I said, oh man, but we get a flashback perspective of Kuma at Thriller Bark. That's interesting. Especially if there was something that he was doing in between, like during the fight against Moria and Oars. I don't know if we need it though. But I mean, hey. Take the content. What's up, Vern? I do want to see the flashback of Kuma sending away everybody at Sabari Chin. I do want to see that. Like if we're going to take it all the way there. But what I would actually prefer is that we get back into the present timeline of everything. And then maybe Bonnie tells the crew exactly why Kuma sent them where they sent them. Where he sent them. I think it would be really cool if Bonnie was able to tell them from the memories. And was just like, yeah, he sent you places where you could grow. But the thing is, it's like, we already know that, and we see that specifically, so... But I mean, like, if Bonnie was able to tease something, that something was deeper for, say, Luffy, right? Well, sent you to Amazon Lily because... And then she never gets to finish, and then we find out later, like, oh my god, this is because your mom was, an empress. And then Bonnie knows something that nobody else knows. because she's been in the memories. I could buy something like that. Vern said, Randy, I bought a booster box of Kingdoms of Intrigue and pulled the treble alt art. I didn't even know they had treble alt art. I just want to get that, just one of the VVs. I have the non-holographic leader VV card, but... Or, you know, like some of the crocodiles. I have the non-holographic crocodile, too. I really like that sick one of him with all of Baroque Works. That's a pretty sick card. Saeed Abdo said, Randy, I think the Warlord system was created 24 years ago after Roger's execution, the start of the Great Pirate Era, because Crocodile's earliest, we know somebody joined the Warlords. Yeah, so in theory, Crocodile has been a Warlord probably the longest out of the ones that we've seen. But that's the interesting thing, too, is like, I want to know who else was Warlords over the years. And it's something that Oda definitely didn't think about when he was, you know, building all of it. But now that he's, like, expanded upon the lore, were there pirates that we've already seen that were warlords that then, you know, like, stopped being a warlord? You know, was Shanks at one point a warlord and then became an emperor? I just thought of that. Like, I'm not, like, you know, really pitching that, but I'm just like, what is it? Were there other Rocks pirate members that were warlords? Was it a thing where Gloriosa was a warlord, right? And then retired. And then that's how, because who else was protecting Amazon Lily in the meantime, right? Like, I mean, like, that kind of stuff is interesting. I brought up Captain John earlier, like, that was kind of cool. Wang Zhi seemed like Wang Zhi should be a warlord, because the real life Wang Zhi was literally a real life, in the real world, warlord, basically. He was a guy that was a pirate that worked for the government to kill other pirates for the government. Like, that's a real thing that happened between China and Japan. And I'm sure that was the inspiration for the warlord system in the first place. So Wang Zhi, when we get into him, like, he either needed to have been a warlord, or the Rocky Port incident should have been over the fact that he was vying for that other position to be a warlord, and then Law stepped in to make sure that he got it instead. Shout out to Moogie, who said, how are you doing, Randy? I think there's a spelling mistake in Picori's name, because his name has to be Picori, the way he's carrying that Willow P.
Someone cooked here.
Oh, man. That's funny. Good son, you're free to say anything that you want in the chat, but whether or not I respond is that's.
I prefer really not to speak. If I speak, I am in big trouble. In big trouble.
Ooh, oh man, wow. Spartan Gibbles. then seeing a theory that Bonnie's wish to grow up and travel with Kuma could have manifested the fruit appearing, possibly including Kuma's wish for Bonnie to grow up. Oh man, that's it. That's why it seems so out of nowhere. She wanted to be 10 so bad and grow up that it made the fruit appear. Because Vegapunk said that in the ancient kingdom, the devil fruits were made by people wishing that they had an ability.
Cook.
Surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah. That feels right. That feels right. Who's been saying that, though? Because I definitely want to bring that up, and I don't want to... I want to not credit people. But how is it in the book? Saeed said, actually, funny enough, Pokori is an adverb or an onomatopoeia word in Japanese that means the action of quickly bowing and lowering one's head, which relates him to bowing down to the Celestials. Oh. So... Mugi. You might have been onto something there. Shout out to Saeed. I'm gonna start calling this man Pokori now. Definitely what Oda was going for. I mean, that sounds right. Look at that part where they're going through the book. You know, it's interesting that they even have the book, because I thought the implication was that, like, the book was extremely rare. That, like, only nobles had access to the book.
You
Oscar, member for 28 months, who said, I hope the other elders get this much page time. Are you talking about like the Gorosei? I doubt they will. Well, I think they'll get more screen time just because in my mind, Saturn dies here, so he's getting a lot of screen time because he's not going to get any further screen time. But going forward, you know, the rest of them will inevitably get a bunch of screen time that'll end up surpassing him. But I don't know if they'll be as tied into other people's past as Saturn is. I think this is probably Saturn's going to end up being, I think, the best developed Gorosei member. Just because, you know, like, how much time do we have left? Not much. It's the final saga, so... What's my speculation for 1100? Well, I think we're done with the flashback midway or close to the end of 1100. We'll come back to Egghead, and Kuma will arrive and probably face down Saturn. I still would like Dragon to appear, you know, because it's 1,000 chapters from his introduction. But I mean, hey, he showed up in 1099, which is, you know, technically still, you know, like 1,000 chapters after anyway. So that kind of works for me.
Loyal.
I want some explanation on the Warlord process. If Bonnie actually did get cured. There's going to be a lot of Saturn and Kuma in 1100, that's for sure. Shout out to Kip/Seaway, member for 24 months. Said, any predictions for how Saturn gets taken down this arc? Kuma or some kind of team battle, perhaps? I would prefer that it's Kuma. He takes all of his pain, maybe even adds Luffy's pain into a giant Ursa shock, the size of which we've never even seen. Bigger than what we saw as the solar revolution of Sorbet Kingdom. And I also think that it's a clue with the way that Oda puts the narration box saying this incident would be known as the Solo Revolution of Sorbet Kingdom. So Kuma's final act is the Egghead incident. He creates a giant Ursa shock, he destroys Egghead, and he sends all of his pain at Saturn. I think it's poetic, especially if we find out that Saturn had something to do with Ginny. And boom. It's the best way to do it. And I also love the idea of like a character that's not the Straw Hats taking out one of the five Gorosei, and then the Straw Hats take out the other four. But just from a storytelling perspective, like having that other element, something that isn't the expected thing. Like you think the five Gorosei, it's like, okay, well, Luffy's going to take out one, Sanji's going to take out one, Zoro's going to take out one, Nami's going to take out one, and Usopp's probably going to take out one. And then it's like, oh, okay. No, Kuma took out one. Kuma Blue Node Saturn. Like that makes sense to me. That's what I like. Hopefully Oda goes down that road. Randy, what about chapter 1111? Zoro will have a great feat because it's his birthday. Right? Isn't that right? 1111 is Zoro's birthday. Any chance that Saturn is introduced because he's the weakest Gorosei member? Asked Matt Pastor. Yes. I've discussed this before. Not only is he probably the weakest Gorosei member, he's also, like, just astrologically the furthest away from the sun. So, out of all of the Gorosei. So if he's the, like, I could see Oda doing something like that. Where, it turns out that, like, maybe their strength is categorized by where they rank. So then, like, Jupiter would be the second weakest, and then let's see, what is it? We have Mercury would probably be the strongest. So maybe Luffy fights Mercury. Zoro is going to fight Venus. Is there an Earth? We don't have an Earth, right? Then it just goes Mars, which makes sense because Sanji should fight Mars. Then Alley-oop Jupe, which I don't know. Maybe Nami fights Jupiter. Usopp, somebody else. I don't know. Sanji fight Jupiter. I don't know. I like the idea of Sanji fighting Mars because I think Mars is going to end up being a bird-like thing, and then Sanji having this flying battle against an old bird works for me. But I think I'm going to start winding the stream down here, guys. I gotta get ready for the analysis. It's a dense chapter. I'm mostly curious as to who Saturn is talking to, though. That's what I'd like to know. Who's he talking to? Do people have theories on this? Who Saturn's talking to? Some people say Magellan? I don't know about that. Kainu would be wild. That's kind of interesting. I mean, I would like a Kainu to get wrapped into here. Talking to Dragon or Shanks. Yo, if it's Dragon? Yo. He really sold Kuma down the river? Oh my god. Because the other thing, too, is the black transponder snail. Like, we've seen that with the... no, they had the white transponder snail. No. The last time... I don't know if we've seen a black transponder snail since Smoker used it to intercept the Mr. Prince, Mr. Zero call. Have we ever seen a black transponder snail since then? The idea of Virgo? No, I don't buy Virgo. Bogard without his hat. I don't know about Garling. I think Garling's been introduced too recently, and I think the idea of hiding it is to have it be someone we don't expect. Kizaru at Sabati? Okay. Oh, yeah, it should be Kizaru, because Kizaru gets wrapped into this, doesn't he? It should be Kizaru. Yeah, he's just talking to Kizaru. But why also hide it? Why hide it? I don't know. Kizaru's the layup for this. Kizaru's the Occam's razor. We'll see if it changes. The black one was the eavesdropping type, yeah. Yep. Sparring Gibble said, looking back in the scan chat on Discord, looks like the fruit manifesting came from a discussion a few of us had there based on bringing up Tekking's theory on it. So Tekking is the one that mentioned it first. And I'll mention Tekking in the analysis when I talk about it, because I do like that part. I do like that. Okay. All right. I think we're gonna wrap up for today, guys. So I appreciate everybody for joining me in the stream. Thank you so much to everybody that supports. Shout out to all the members. Drop a like before we get out of here. If you come to the anime streams, make sure that you are subscribed to the second channel, which I just dropped in the chat there, because we're going to try doing the anime streams on the second channel so that they don't affect the algorithm on the main channel. And in theory, we'll get back to the Chainsaw Man stuff as well over on the second channel. And join the Discord as well, because that's where I make the announcements that I'm going live. So if you guys aren't in the Discord, I always make sure that I put on Discord when we're going live. No matter what channel it's on, anything like that, that's the way it goes.
You loyal.
Aaron said, member for 14 months, said, praise be that Chainsaw Man may return. Appreciate you, buddy. Yep. All right, guys. So we'll be back here for 1100. 1100 next Sunday. But analysis will be out in the next day or two. Talk to you guys soon. Bye. And come to the Cross Guild anime stream Saturday.
I've been swimming deep, deep. Savage.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.